Alexis Conran, welcome to Housing Technology.
Thank you very much for having me.
2017. Have you enjoyed it?
Very much so. It's been absolutely brilliant.
For those people who weren't here, what were the main sort of topics that you covered?
We have a lot of worries when it comes to security, both personally and in our businesses and professional life. And we are surrounded by companies and organizations who are too happy to say, hey, don't worry, because we've come up with a fantastic solution. Here's the product, you buy it, you just press this button, and if it goes green, you're okay. And I think that's ultimately playing into the hands of the hustlers and the con men, because what you're doing is you're not really educating people. You're not saying, listen, there is a danger in doing X, Y, and Z because this can happen. Explaining to people what the possibilities, what the vulnerabilities really are. And because people kind of tend to assume, well, you don't want to explain all that to your employees or to the consumer because, it's too technical, they won't understand it. So just give them this product and tell them to switch it on and then they'll be fine. And what you're kind of essentially doing is dumbing people down. The truth is that people are not going to take the necessary steps to protect themselves unless they know what the real dangers are. And the other main thing that I care about and try and put forward in these talks is that we must share. We must become a world in which every security threat and vulnerability is instantly shared, because that's the only way we're going to learn. And unfortunately, the trend is that if a company has had a breach, their first instinct is to hide it.
I noticed that in the aircraft industry, for instance, and the insurance industry, but aircraft probably more so, they tend to share information.
They do. And there's a great book by Matthew Syed, which is called Black Box Thinking. In it, he explains how in the aircraft industry, unfortunately, when there is an issue, it involves a plane going down, which is tragic and horrific, but it is known and worldwide. And immediately the issue is out there, the investigation is public, the black boxes come out, and people say, oh, you know what, it was a failure of this part, in that type of aircraft. And worldwide, the industry gets that information and springs into action. And I can't think of another industry that does that.
We're living in much more of a connected world, and our sector represents millions of homes and millions of tenants. So obviously, the Internet of Things has a major part to play in potential problems that our sector faces.
The Internet of Things worries me. It worries me a lot because it's inevitable. It is, again, one of those industries where progress is valued more than security and privacy.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, hey, I've developed a light bulb that can talk to your phone. Well, that's great. Have you taken a moment to think of the consequences of that when it comes to privacy? No, not really. The toaster can talk to your internet and the fridge, and so can your washing machine. Have you taken a moment to think what information is now being shared on servers somewhere in the world? What happens to that information? But the bigger issue is the issue of privacy. If I have a light bulb that talks to the internet and my fridge talks to the internet, and all that information is being shared, then my timetable is known, my habits are known. Too much private information about me is now open to large corporations and being out there. And I personally would feel uncomfortable with that.
Yes. I think it's going to just generate vast amounts of data, the likes of which we've never seen.
Yeah, but we're capable of handling vast amounts of data now. What we do with it, no one actually quite knows. But someone somewhere thinks, well, it might be useful, so let's keep it.
Yes.
Someone will want to buy it. And that's the issue. And the problem is that brilliant people around the world create amazing technology for the right reasons. So, for example, a web-enabled, Bluetooth-enabled pacemaker is a wonderful invention because once inserted, it can be altered and changed remotely. So you don't have to crack open someone's chest again to take it out just to dial a screw on it, right? The person who invented that didn't think, hang on though, someone can hack that. Why should they? They're a doctor trying to help people. But that's the problem that we have, is that we have brilliant, wonderful people inventing amazing technology to really make our lives better. But it's not their job to secure all that stuff. It's the security industry's job to do that. And very often they are way behind. Just because tech is moving so quickly, they don't have the capacity to keep up. And when you have those gaps where the tech has moved so far forward and security is trying to catch up, that little gap there in the middle, that's where hackers get in, that's where scammers get in, that's where hustlers get in.
So you mentioned in your talk that you're doing some stuff with the police.
Yes, I've been involved in a campaign called TakeFive, which has now been running just over 6 months, and it's due to run for a year. And it's supported by all the major banks, it's supported by the Met Police, a lot of police around the country, and it's a really important campaign, one I feel quite passionate about, because I think we've had lots of campaigns of don't share your password, don't write down your PIN number, always cover your PIN. You know, we've got all that. The TakeFive campaign, very, very simple. The message is just anytime you're about to share financial information, take 5 minutes to think about it. I would add to that, talk to someone about it. Your brother, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, whoever. Just say, oh, this just happened.
It's a very, very daunting world that we're living in now, and it's just getting
dauntier.
Daunting, absolutely. So what's next for you then, Alexis? What are you up to?
Well, I have my show, the Radio Hustle, on Talk Radio on Saturdays, and that sort of keeps my finger in the security world and the consumer world, and I'm very passionate about trying to save people money, trying to save people from being scammed, spreading the knowledge. And I just finished filming on a new series for Dave, the channel Dave, where myself and a good friend of mine, Marcus Brigstock, the comedian.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah.
We basically put gadgets to the test. It's a show called The Joy of Techs. And it's a bit like Top Gear with gadgets.
Excellent.
We break a lot of stuff.
Alexis, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.